Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the bow itself. We talked earlier about cellos and how to choose a cello, and choosing a bow is in many ways very complicated. Once again, there are old bows and there are new bows. I, being a kind of a new instrument guy, happen to use a new bow, but there are of course many wonderful old bows. In general, new bows tend to be stronger and heavier, and the fine old bows that were made in the time of Francois Tourt tend to be lighter and more flexible, and in some ways very, very appealing in the hand. However, if one has to do a lot of big playing, strong playing in big halls, there's not much of a substitute for a strong bow. In the first place, the bow has to be able to be tightened enough, I'll do it right here, so that no matter how hard you press on it, the hair never touches to the wood, or the wood never touches to the string. And one of the worst things you can hear in cello playing, and actually you hear it quite often, is when the bow is not tight enough or not strong enough that the wood actually touches the strings and you get this buzz. I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but I know from experience that the buzz under the ear of the performer is never as loud as it is in the audience. So take care that your bow is strong enough that it can withstand the pressure you need to put on it, and also that you tighten it enough so that you never have the buzz no matter how hard you push. The bow has to be strong enough to sustain a very vigorous attack. You know, if you're doing something or like that, it should never bottom out and crunch either the sound or the wood against the string, because then your stick is just not strong enough. You either need a heavier stick or one that's stiffer. I particularly like to look for bows that are not too heavy, but that are very stiff. But that's my personal taste, once again. The other thing that the bow should do really well, and it's magical when you can find one that does it, is to sustain to the tip. And as I said in the previous talk, sustaining to the tip of the bow is a very, very, very important thing to do. Because it's the thing that gives you the illusion of one line. The easier a bow does that, the less you're going to have. Because as we all know, the amount of pressure you have to put on at the tip and also pulling in the bow change is what makes it sustain. So the bow should help you sustain at the tip of the bow, not feel weak out there. Then, in terms of articulation, a bow should have natural articulation, that when you're it should not be difficult to do that and to play good short notes. A bow should also have a spiccato, and depending on how tight you have it, the bow can bounce in different places. Needs to do all of those things, and to do them fairly easily. And the last thing I should say about the bow itself is that in some ways they all sound a little different. They don't sound as different as one might think. A good bow, for example, will not make a bad cello sound great. A good bow will make a good cello sound even a little better. And sometimes it's very surprising that in a hall, when you try the bows, you'll hear more of a marked difference. I don't know what it is that makes one bow sound different than another. I really have no idea. Nobody's ever explained it to me, and I don't know if anybody ever will. But they do sound different one from the other. However, I would not sacrifice all of the other factors, the strength, the ability to articulate, the feeling of control that you have, a spiccato. I would not sacrifice any of those for what you might perceive is a slightly better sound quality, because in the end, all the other tools are more important and more useful. And if you have a good sounding cello and you make a good sound on it, you're going to sound good no matter what bow you use.